My Simple Sewing Skills book will begin your journey toward handcrafting a wardrobe you will wear and love. Let me read it to you. If you want to create a simple wardrobe you love and you want to craft it with your own hands, you'll need to develop certain skills. These skills aren't difficult. Your grandparents made their clothes, and their grandparents before them, and they began at a very young age. Creating is in your blood. Whether you have sewn much before or not, I hope that the words on these pages are both helpful and engaging. Now, let us begin. Become a master of the thread. A needle and thread, plain and simple, is all you really need to begin. Perhaps you already know how to thread that needle and sew on a button or mend a tear. Then you know how to sew. The fact that you can do that much means you're that much more ahead than the person who can do neither. And if you cannot do that much, then begin to learn today. Take a length of thread, 18 inches or so will do. Gently slip one end through the eye of a needle. Oops, perhaps you'll need to try a few times. A tip. Wet the eye of the needle. There, you've done it. Now for the knot. Take the longer tail of the thread, with the end toward the needle's eye and the length toward the tip. Wrap the thread around the needle 3 times. Pinch the wraps between your fingers and gently pull the needle through. Keep pulling until the knot settles neatly onto the end of the thread. If it doesn't work the first time, well, you know the drill. Try it again and again and again until it becomes second nature. Perhaps this length of thread is simply meant to help you practice threading and knotting. Thread the needle, tie the knot, then snip the knot off the end so you can do it again. Play some music or a podcast. Drills are a good time for listening, though silence is nice too. Tomorrow you may make some stitches, but let today be your day to become a master of the thread. Running stitch. The running stitch is the beginning of a journey. Once learned, it will open up a world of possibilities. Begin with a threaded needle and knotted thread. Simple, since you're a thread master now. A 6-inch by 12-inch piece of light, crisp fabric. Cotton or linen will do nicely. And a feeling of confident anticipation because soon you'll know how to stitch. Holding the fabric so that it's tall, not wide, insert the needle from back to front 1/2 inch away from the upper right corner. Pull the thread all the way through until the knot catches, so that the thread is anchored in the fabric. Insert the needle front to back just to the left of where you've anchored your thread. This time, don't pull the needle all the way through, but push the tip back up through the fabric. Once the tip of the needle has poked through, push it back down through the fabric. Repeat this rocking motion until you have a few stitches on the needle, then pull the needle all the way through. Now you know the running stitch. Finish stitching across the short edge of the fabric. Once you're at the end, you'll want to tie a knot, a different sort of knot than before. Take one more little stitch, but don't pull the thread all the way through. Now, twist the loop of thread you've made into a figure 8. Insert your needle through each of the 2 loops formed by the figure 8. Gently pull the long tail of thread to tighten the figure 8 around the needle. Finally, pull the needle all the way through. There, you've made your knot. Now it's safe to snip the thread, but not too close to the knot, or the end will slip back through. Excellent job. Take a deep breath and admire your work. Then stitch along the other short side of your fabric. Whip stitch. The whip stitch is a neat little way to sew a seam or stitch up a hole. Begin with a threaded needle and knotted thread. You're getting very good at this. the same 6-inch by 12-inch piece of light, crisp fabric from the last exercise, with running stitches along both short edges. A feeling of confident anticipation, because soon you'll know the whip stitch. Before you begin stitching, you must prepare the fabric. Take your swatch and one at a time fold each long edge over about 1/2 inch. Press with a hot iron, set to a temperature that suits your fabric. Note, pressing and ironing are two different things. Ironing means sliding the iron over the fabric. Pressing is setting the iron down and holding it for a moment, then lifting it straight up, moving it to a new area of fabric, and setting it down again. Ironing may stretch and warp the fabric, so generally, pressing is preferred. Once your swatch is well pressed, fold it in half like a hamburger, not a hot dog. The right side, what will be the outside of the bag, should be on the inside when your fabric is folded. Insert the needle through both folds very close to the edge, beginning at your running stitches. Pull the needle through, then, to make your next stitch, insert your needle through both folds again, slightly to the left of where you began. Now, this is an important detail not to miss. Always insert the needle in the same direction. You'll know if you've done it right when you pull the needle through and tighten the thread. The thread should loop around the folded edge, as shown in the photos. Continue stitching until you get to the corner. Then tie a knot like you did for the running stitch. Here are the instructions again, with different photos, so that you get a different perspective on the same knot. Take one more little stitch, but don't pull the thread all the way through. Now twist the loop of thread you've made into a figure 8. Insert your needle through each of the 2 loops formed by the figure 8. Gently pull the long tail of thread to tighten the figure 8 around the needle. Finally, pull the needle all the way through. There, you've made your knot. It's now safe to snip the thread, but not too close to the knot, or the end will slip back through. Now, do it all again on the other side. Once that's done, turn your little bag right side out and admire your work. Catch stitch. The catch stitch is well worth the extra effort it requires. Take it one step at a time and you'll do just fine. Begin with a threaded needle and knotted thread. It's becoming second nature now. That 6-inch by 12-inch piece of light, crisp fabric, the same one you used to learn the running stitch and the whip stitch. A feeling of confident anticipation, because soon you'll know how to work catch stitching. Fold over the short edges of the fabric 1/2 inch toward the wrong side of the fabric, the inside of your bag, and press with a hot iron. This will be easy because your running stitches make for a nice guide. Take a tiny stitch from right to left, beginning at the left-hand edge, the opposite of where you began for the running and whip stitches. About 1/2 inch to the right of your first stitch, take a small right to left stitch through only the top layer of folded fabric. Be sure to keep your thread out of the way as you pull your stitch taut. In this case, keep the thread below your needle. About 1/2 inch to the right of your last stitch, take a small right to left stitch through only the main fabric. This time, to keep your thread out of the way, keep it above your needle. Continue in this way, alternating between the main fabric and the folded layer. When you look at the right side or the outside of your bag, you should see a single line of small stitches. You can stop stitching, tie a knot, and begin again when you reach the halfway point, Or you can keep right on stitching. Do what works for you. In any case, when you come back to where you started, tie a knot the way you always do when you get to the end of your work. Here's a tip for making your catch stitches even more beautiful. Before taking each stitch, arrange your thread the way you'd like it to be once your stitch is made. This will create a guide to show you exactly where to insert your needle. Take a close look at the picture in the middle to see what I mean. Many people who know how to sew have never learned to catch stitch. You can be proud of yourself now that you know it. Finishing. The end is only the beginning. To finish one project is to find freedom to begin another. Begin with the 6-inch by 12-inch piece of light, crisp fabric that you've transformed into a bag. Rather impressive when you think about it. A piece of yarn or ribbon and a safety pin. This is for the drawstring and should be about 18 inches long. A feeling of confident anticipation because soon you'll have a finished project. Tie one end of the drawstring to the safety pin and use the pin to feed it through the pocket made with your catch stitching. Do this from the wrong side to avoid catching the stitches with the pin. Continue to feed the pin through the pocket all the way around the top edge of the bag. When you come to the opening halfway around, simply continue feeding it through. When you get all the way around, gently pull the pin until the drawstring shows itself. Untie the pin and turn the bag right side out. You can tie the ends together to form a loop, or simply tie a bow like I did. Now you have a little bag, perfect for holding a spool of thread and some needles. But more than that, now you have the skills to sew. You can download a PDF version of the book that I've just read to you by using the link in the description below. I hope that if you have gotten to the end of this video and have enjoyed yourself thus far, that you'll take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for making me a part of your sewing journey.